What do these four approaches have in common? What are the approaches, again, when it comes to racism? Denial, embrace, educate, and reject with educate, and sarcasm. What do they all have in common? When it comes to all of these responses to racist and racism, we'll start with denial. When you deny, you have, just like Jester said, you have accepted their concept. You have accepted it as a real thing. By consenting to it, the concept, accepting it, you accept its meaning and you accept its power. You have already lost. That's the end of the discussion. And here's an aside. If you are in a discussion with someone and you make a gaffe like that, just walk away. Fight another day. Argue another day. Because you've just lost the moral high ground. There's no coming back. Once you've accepted the concept racist and racism, you've lost. Essentially, what happens when you have accepted the concept racist and racism is that you're now waiting with your head under a guillotine for the anti-white to throw that lever at any time he or she wants to. You're just waiting. When is it going to happen? So you can deny all you want. Oh, my non-white friends, their hand is still on that lever. Oh, but you dated non-white people in the past. Their hand is still on that lever. Persuade that pink-haired freak. Persuade that pink-haired freak that is going to get on a video and get on Twitter and all of these other anti-white platforms and demand that grenades be thrown into the homes of those who speak positively about white people and has no repercussion. Appeal to that pink-haired freak when they call for the murder, when they call for putting white children into wood chippers, and there's no repercussions for that, as just happened with the Covington Catholic boys. Persuade that person. Is that the kind of person you want at the lever? Is that where you want to put yourself? Your head on the block as the anti-white stands there with their hand on the lever. When you embrace the concept of racist, just like denying it, again, you've accepted it as a concept. Therefore, you've accepted its meaning, and you have left its power intact. And there, I just gave it away for you all. So if you're paying attention, the four things that all of these responses have in common. Jump real quick to educating and rejecting. Once again, you're accepting the concept, you're accepting its meaning and its power. Back one step, when you embrace the term, and this is important, instead of having just one non-white or the non-whites who are deciding whether or not you get thrown out of your school or fired from your job at the lever for your guillotine, when you embrace that you are a racist, when you say, very well, I am, when you say that, you put all of white society, average white society, at the guillotine. And you don't want to do that. They all have a sense of what it means to be a racist, what it means to be, what racism means. And when they hear somebody say that they are a racist, they hear everything that they have learned up to that point. They hear that someone hates, illogically hates, not just hates. Sometimes people in the white positive cause break this down further by saying, oh, hate is good or something like this, whatever. The average white person, and it's their sensibilities we have to appeal to, is that the average white person hears that you hate illogically, that you're unhinged, that you want to murder, that you want to harm. That's what they hear when they hear you say, embrace the term racist and racism. There's no long-term game there. We need these masses, these scores of millions to come. Their sensibilities, not what the anti-whites might think, not what the non-white anti-whites or just general non-whites might think. It's the sensibilities of these scores of millions of white people. And that is the only place where we can find power. A lot of people talk now in recent months about power and that's what matters. Well, unless you have a printing press that spits out dollars and some way to defend yourself, you're not going to find any power, economic power. And unless you have Martians land and give you military power that's superior to everything on planet Earth, you're not going to have any military power. There's only one other place it can come from, and that is the body of our people. How do you know that power resides in those many scores of millions? Well, you know, because the anti-white elites continue to appeal to them. They continue to make their arguments to them. They continue to manipulate what they think. They continue to care about their opinions. They wouldn't give a damn about them, about those scores of millions. They would just do whatever they wanted if that wasn't an insurmountable power against which they were opposed. Does that make sense? All right, when someone educates and rejects, what have they done? Again, they've accepted the concept, its meaning, and its power. Not only that, in that case, though, you look like you're a little unhinged. I mean, think about it. You've just got done saying that the concept of racist and racism exists. You've just educated your interlocutor on the concept of racist and racism. And now you're rejecting it like you're some sort of child throwing a tantrum. Like you're a child who's saying, no, the roads are still too icy to go to school. I don't care what the authorities say. I don't want to go. You look like a child throwing a tantrum. That's what happens when you educate and reject. Finally, when you act sarcastically, again, you've acknowledged that there's such a thing, concept is racism. Its power is still in place. Its meaning is still there. But now you look juvenile. Now you look like a child, again, I guess, in a way, when you, same as rejecting. Now you look like you are not intelligent enough or not mature enough to appreciate what this concept, racist and racism, means. And then again, they ignore you. You lose your audience, which is what matters. So the fourth thing, or the thing that all of these approaches, these four approaches, have in common is that in all cases, the concept of racism is left intact. That is the thing that you have to tackle. The concept of racism is still intact with all of those approaches.